An unrelenting aquatic siege has descended once more upon the waterlogged lands of Pas-de-Calais. Less than 2 months after enduring catastrophic flooding that drove thousands from their homes, the region now confronts even deeper inundation by raging floodwaters. Hello and welcome to Nova. The surrounding skies offered no respite, only further bombardment by endless curtains of rain saturating the already bloated waterways. Villages witnessed swollen rivers transform into relentless aquatic invaders, submerging streets under currents powerful enough to sweep away cars and vans attempting to flee the rising tides. Entire groves of venerable trees toppled helplessly into the churning waters. Temporary dams blocking bridges and diversion channels. Homes and storefronts stood defenseless as endless ranks of muddy water crashed through sandbag barriers, conquering ground floor after ground floor. In Marlon-Brie, floodwaters reached nearly 2 meters, towering above vehicles to swallow entire first levels of ancient stone houses. Few defenses could withstand the relentless hydraulic barrage, residents forced to abandon generations-old dwellings against the relentless currents. Even historic city centers found themselves besieged by the watery onslaught, the famous fish market of Boulogne-sur-Mer succumbing under 4 feet of raging floodwaters. Salt water rushed into cafes and shops blocked by aqua alta barriers just weeks earlier, wreaking havoc upon painstaking recovery efforts. The region reeled from an unprecedented meteorological assault, 7 times the deluge of prior flooding episodes. With soaked lands unable to absorb further rainfall, unforgiving physics took command as surging waters commandeered the terrain. Like a relentless tidal wave, the floods sought out low trajectories and natural corridors, pressing onward by the hour through suburbs, villages, and breadbasket farm fields critical to feeding all France. Endless rows of apples, wheat, and potatoes disappeared beneath the fluid contagion. Livestock and tractors stranded like islands in a swirling sea, now consuming the fertile countryside. The region remained paralyzed under red flood alerts through the week, dams and reservoirs spilling over capacity by the hour. Entire hillsides liquefied into slides, taking roads and rail lines with them. Paris officials stared helplessly at projections of over 50 inundated communities as patient waters rose inch by inch, hour by hour towards new crisis milestones. Bleak choices emerged for entire families reckoning their very future. Flood insurance policies refused to cover the endless barrage of repeated flooding disasters, while neither government funds nor savings seemed sufficient to eternally rebuild. Aspirations and livelihoods now washed away on the restless tides, leaving little but financially ruined homes and bankruptcy notices in their wake. Anger mounted against state planners for failures preparing defenses to match intensifying climate chaos. Despite hundreds of millions spent last decade fortifying quays and floodgates, the endless storms chewed through engineering works as though sandcastles on the beach. Once tranquil hamlets now faced abandonment by those unwilling to eternally brave disasters layered upon endless disasters. But the gathering floodwaters granted no quarter based on affluence or history, equally laying siege to laboring families and aristocratic estates alike. All the while, the atmospheric assault persisted from above, categorical imperatives seemingly intent on submerging cities, erasing communities, reversing centuries of determined development. Nature, taking back what always was ultimately hers. Defiant municipalities erected miles of barricades against the rising tides, only to watch cresting waters pour relentlessly over top as if the very land itself sank into the sea. The calamitous floods captured global headlines, underscoring the magnification of extreme weather patterns affecting communities worldwide. While Pas-de-Calais faced endless barrages of rain against bloated rivers, drought and wildfires of unprecedented fury consumed other regions of Europe and North America alike. An increasingly chaotic climate would continue to test the disaster resilience of societies across the globe. How much emergency response can strained governmental budgets long withstand in the new epoch of intensifying and erratic acts of God? Pas-de-Calais emerged as an illuminating crucible, clinging determinedly yet precariously to existence, earnestly striving to adapt quicker than the rising tides around them. The weeks ahead seemed destined to push the region to the breaking point, where policy, technology, infrastructure, and emergency crews all race larger forces beyond control. But perhaps the greatest test facing flooded communities remains summoning the faith, solidarity, and determination to rebuild yet again upon the next day the skies finally clear.